Guys, Marseille here bringing another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video, and so today we're looking at the EZA for the INT Youth Gohan that's come out with this world tournament currently going on Global. When I read his kit, I thought he definitely seemed like he could be a unit that has a lot of potential, but he is very much kind of locked onto being the most effective on one particular team, which is a team that doesn't really see a lot of love at the moment, especially with people's thoughts and feelings about the Tech Super Trunks. I haven't given him any skill orbs yet. I do like to try these guys out a little bit first, especially when it comes to the World Tournament EZAs. I don't know how much I'm going to use them after the initial showcases, but we are running the double Tech Trunks Android / Cell Saga team. So Gohan is of course getting the 200% leader skill buff. His super attack is that he does supreme damage to the enemy and raises attack and defense by 50% for 6 turns. So if you can get as many additionals in as possible, he's carrying over his stats for a couple of turns, which is good. Even if he's floating, right, he's still going to have that buff the next time he comes around. And then his passive is Key 3, attack and defense 100%, additional 100% attack and defense when performing a super, additional 100% attack for 3 turns after receiving an attack, Android / Cell Saga allies 2 key and attack and defense 30%, plus an additional attack and defense 3% per superclass ally on the team. So the more superclass allies you have, the more buffs that he gives. Chance of performing a crit 58% when facing 2 or fewer enemies, which is going to be most of the time. Gets a guaranteed seal for 2 turns if there are 3 or more enemies, so potentially useful in Super Battle Road. And then he guards all attacks when there's a Bond of Master and Disciple ally attacking in the same turn. So we want to try and get him together with characters like Future Gohan. I'm pretty sure this Trunks is not on Bond of Master and Disciple, right? Because he doesn't have the... Unless this one still counts as... I think he still counts as having the bond with Future Trunks, right? Because he is still technically Future Gohan. So that means we would have the guard on this turn, although we're not going to be putting him in slot 3 where the other attacks are. So on this rotation, we only have 2 links active. We have 118k defense start of turn, which is obviously not a lot, but we do get 100% when performing a super. And then obviously we are getting the raise by 50% on our super attack effect as well. So... not great for the first turn, I would say, for sure. But you have to bear in mind the fact that we can get these stacks that carry over for multiple turns. The Tech Vegeta is the only extreme class character on the team. So we have 6 super class units on the team overall, which means we're getting an extra 18% from his passive for the support. I believe it's support for all allies and not just for him. But the interesting thing is he supports all allies. Well, supports all Android / Cell Saga allies, not just specifically the superclass ones, which means he is actually supporting the Vegeta on this rotation as well, which is good. So Vegeta will tank that, yeah, for double digits. So let's see what we get here on the first turn. 3.5 mil, obviously nothing crazy. We really want additionals with this guy, because if you're going to have him on rotation with these Android / Cell Saga allies, especially with a Bond of Master and Disciple ally, he's going to have guard, but he's not going to get up to crazy levels of raw defense. So it's one of those things with floating support units, you do very often want to give them mostly dodge, but this guy is going to benefit a huge amount from having these additionals. This is really awkward for Tech Trunks. I mean, as long as he guards, I guess it's okay, but like, bruh, him getting sealed here is not really ideal. What is his active skill when he's pre-transformed? It's just disable 1 action, isn't it? I mean, I guess we can do that. Get the attack off here. I mean, at least he builds up his passive by attacking and not by super attacking. But if he doesn't get the guard, because of course, this is the funny thing. I think I mentioned it when I did the World Tournament breakdown video and I was talking about that INT Gohan before we got to this showcase. But remember that Tech Trunks needs 3 other Android / Cell Saga allies, and then he has a chance to guard. Whereas the INT World Tournament Gohan, now fair enough he's an EZA unit, but he's also a free-to-play unit. He needs 1 ally from Bond of Master and Disciple, and then he gets guaranteed guard. So comparing him to like the Dokkan Fest Tech Trunks, obviously the Tech Trunks unit overall is better because of everything that he does. But it's just funny that it's like Trunks needs 3 allies to have a chance to guard, and Gohan needs 1 ally to get guaranteed guard. And considering the units that are on Android / Cell Saga, having a Bond of Master and Disciple character on the rotation with him is certainly very easy to do. So definitely Not super difficult for him. I put this guy on the team as a floating support as well. Obviously good in slot 3. Stacks defense. Getting the additional here is definitely very helpful. He could obviously be a liability depending on how the turns go. But you're sealed. As long as Gohan's not sealed, I guess that's the most important thing. Now, we don't have a Bond of Master and Disciple ally on this rotation because of the way the rotations are played out. I really should have just floated off Future Gohan so I could get these guys together as soon as possible. Maybe I should just float off Gohan here, because even though the showcase is for him, maybe we just get him floated off here, and then at least get him together with Future Gohan a little bit quicker, because him not having guard here could be a bit awkward. But he's up to 177 after the stack from the previous turn, so he gets the 100% on Super, still gets a 50% raise. Those stacks will have probably worn off then when he comes back again. I knew that was going to happen. The literal first attack of the turn. How does INT 16 eat this? 100k, okay. INT 16 is definitely very good for this team. So, I don't know why I was worried. But that's the thing, you have to remember when you build the team. Like, I wanted to build an Android / Cell Saga team. I also wanted to build a team that had good slot 1 units on it, which is why I bought Vegeta. But you have to remember that for this Gohan, you do want a Bond of Master and Disciple ally. Now, if we weren't doing a showcase, we would probably have the rotations where we just have like INT 16 and Tech Vegeta as the slot 1 units, and then have Super Trunks on both rotations. And this Gohan would just be a floating support unit, which means every turn he comes onto the rotation, obviously a Tech Trunks is going to be there, so he is going to have a Bond of Master and Disciple ally. So he would always have guard. But yeah, we didn't get the double super, we got an additional normal. Yes, he still takes 58k from this physical boo. And that's the big problem. You want him to have that guard active at all times, basically. So you want to try and make sure you are building the team such that he has that Bond of Master and Disciple ally on the rotation. Which, as I said, like for most people, you know, you're not running a showcase, right? So you don't, it doesn't matter, like, that you're going to have him in slot 3, potentially. Did he seal him again? This guy is getting no luck whatsoever. This other Trunks is just never going to transform, is he? But fortunately, though, this rotation will be quite strong overall. We'll go ahead and do this, and then we can grab all of these for you. I don't really want to use the item again, in case, you know, we don't want the showcase unit getting sealed, but obviously Future Gohan's going to be able to do some big damage here. Now we've got the domain up. This Boo event is fun for showcasing because it's such a long stage. Like, you think how many, we're on turn 5 and we're still in the first phase. But the annoying thing is, of course, the ceiling, which is a bit of it's a double-edged sword. It's a nice long stage for showcasing what characters can do. But then, of course, the character that you're trying to showcase can be the one that gets sealed, which is obviously really annoying. But we should be all right now. I think Tech Super Trunks, considering he's linked up with his untransformed self, he should have all of his links active here. Bear in mind, he gets guaranteed crits now that he's Super Trunks. So he probably finishes off Bootanks here, especially if we get an additional, which very commonly we will for Tech Super Trunks. I can't remember if he has an additional super guaranteed, but he can do a few additionals. And then there we go. I can't remember the last time I properly used him. We've only dusted him off, obviously, for the sake of doing this showcase. But, oh damn, that HP. I think, for the sake of... I mean, Tech Gohan absolutely could get us killed here in slot 3. So I think, even though we're now not having to worry about getting sealed, I think we just go ahead and do this. And then do this. As long as he doesn't super attack Tech Gohan, then we should be fine. Right? He could super attack either of the other two on this rotation and we'll be okay. But if he super attacks Tech Gohan, it will be GG. But, you know. Brought him on the team for a bit of support. Get the rotation of like Future Gohan in slot 1 with his domain up, and then this other Gohan on rotation, the Tech Gohan in slot 3. That'd be a solid rotation for that INT Gohan. But I believe because we had to float him off, he'll have lost some of those stacks as well. So we'll see what his start of turn defense is when he comes back. Is he really going to super Tech Gohan? Oh, he really is, isn't he? I need Gohan to like double super again. Nice. Not that that's necessarily enough defense for him to tank a super here, but it's enough for him to tank normals, and that's good enough. Okay. Alright, so what does that put us at then for you? Yeah, see, 225, so he has still carried over some of them stacks. He doesn't link with Trunks, though, which is super awkward. Future Gohan, we only have Saiyan Warrior Race. So I guess that's another thing to look at. So his links, we have like All in the Family, which is a good Goku family link for defense. But obviously for Android/Cell Saga, I mean, if Heart Virus Goku gets an EZA at some point, he'd be a really good slot 1 unit again. And then this guy having links with him like Z Fighters as well. Gaze of Respect is obviously a link that they share with a lot of Gohans and Piccolos, which is a good link in terms of what it gives. But for Android/Cell Saga characters, it's not exactly super common. I think what we'll do is we'll use the Super Trunks active skill here because it takes away all the attacks for the turn. And then yours gives you a permanent buff as well. I do love his animation. I very rarely skip it, but I want to see what Gohan can do here. So Gohan, 225k. He gets 100% on Super as well as the 50% raise. It's a shame, I guess. Well, I mean, he's not really designed to be in slot 1. I was going to say it's a shame he doesn't buff allies on Super or anything, but realistically, if he did have that effect, it would be kind of wasted because he's not a unit that you're really going to want to put in slot 1 anyway. Still no double supers though. That's the thing. I think with the stacks that he gets, 50% and being able to stack it for 6 turns is really nice, but you only really see the benefit if you are getting additionals, and nothing in his kit gives him the ability to do an additional super, so you really are relying on hidden potential. And then against some of these tougher bosses, even with him having guard by having a Bond of Master and Disciple ally on the rotation, he's not necessarily going to be tanking these big boss super attacks. So dodge probably is the primary ability I would go for him, and then just put all the rest into additional, because you're not necessarily, you don't want him to crit because he's not on the team to do damage. He's supporting the team, but you want him to do additional supers just so he's getting the extra stacks for his own defense. Wow, look at Super Trunks just going off. That's always been the disappointing thing about this unit, is the tech Super Saiyan Trunks is not very good, but once he becomes Super Trunks, like, he just went absolutely crazy on Buhan there, so we love to see that. But you're locked in slot 1, so that means we're dead. That's good. That's always fun, because I used my last Senzu Bean, so does that give you your post super defense? It does not, so yeah, we're dead, because I can't do anything, can't do any attacks. Well, we got to see a little bit of what Gohan can do. I mean, the thing is, as much as, like, you guys know I try and be very glass half full about these kind of things. Gohan, he's definitely not, like, terrible, and he didn't guard. Of course he didn't. And that's what I mean. We come back to the Super Trunks, build a whole team around him, and he still only has a chance to guard. If we'd guarded, we probably would have at least survived in slot 1, but yeah, unfortunately not. So Gohan, unfortunately for him, kind of stuck supporting a team that just doesn't really get run anymore. Sticker effect is okay, I guess, but yeah, it's a bit of a shame, because if it was a different team, like if it was Hybrid Saiyans or something, then I could see this guy being really good, because you could throw him on a bunch of these different Hybrid Saiyan teams with characters like Ultimate Gohans, Future Gohans, various other Gohans and Trunkses and stuff, where he's going to get some of these links active, and then he could actually be a very useful support unit on that team. But Android/Cell Saga is just kind of a dud team at the moment, which is unfortunate, because his kit's got some really nice bits in it, like the stacking on the super's good, guard only requiring 1 ally that you're going to run him with on most of these team builds. But yeah, unfortunately, it's the team that he's on is, I guess, more of the issue. And as we saw during this run, like on the Android/Cell Saga team, there's not a lot of characters that he actually shares a lot of links with, which is awkward. So I don't know why they did that, right, with his kit, right? Because he didn't have an Android/Cell Saga restriction, I believe, pre-EZA. In fact, can we check his pre-EZA kit here? Yeah, he had Android/Cell Saga allies was the support, I guess. I suppose he's not restricted to being run on that team. It's just that those are the only allies he supports. So if you're not running him on an Android/Cell Saga team, then he's not supporting the allies. And then what else is he doing? Because he really is just a support unit. So a little bit disappointing. Hybrid Saiyans would have made him significantly better, but I guess it is what it is. Let me know your thoughts on the INT Youth Gohan down below in the comments section. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new, check out all the links down below, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.